You're listening to Murder Not Murdering with Erin,
and Autumn,
a true crime podcast about murder and murdering.
but we are not murderers.
Hi, everyone. Unfortunately, Autumn is still sick, so she is unable to record this week with me. Now, by popular demand, mostly me, it's wine and crime time with Erin. I'm going to be doing a little mini-sode with my pal Cabernet. And actually tonight I am trying a Cabernet by 19 Crimes. See what I did there? It's pretty good. It's very drinkable. If they would like to send me wine, I'm not opposed to any of that. So I'll be drinking this and talking about some murder. I'm going to jump right in. So tonight I'll be telling the story of the murder of Mary Morris. On October 12th, 2000, bank loan officer Mary Lou Morris left her suburban Houston home and went to work. She never arrived at the office. Her husband, Jay Morris, tried to contact her all day. By 5 p.m., he had reported the 48-year-old as missing, and he knew something was terribly wrong. In a remote area outside of Houston, Texas, an ATV rider made a gruesome discovery. Inside a smoldering car, he found a body burned beyond recognition. The CSI unit was called and began searching for clues. Her husband, Jay, heard that there was a body found in a car sounding a lot like Mary's. He went to the scene but was turned away. Within a few hours, the body was identified as Mary Lou Morris. Her body was burned so badly that forensic scientists used tooth fragments to identify her. The police did not suspect robbery. At this point, there was no motive nor explanation for her murder. Everyone who knew the bank loan officer said she was friendly and outgoing. She had no known enemies. 3 days after Mary Morris's death, the case took a strange turn. Not far from where Mary's body had been found, another woman was viciously murdered. She, too, was killed in her car. And incredibly, her name was also Mary Morris. What? I know. Sorry, I'm talking to Cabernet again. Anyway, Mary McGinnis Morris was a 39-year-old. And like Mary Lou Morris, she was a successful professional. She worked as a nurse practitioner. Both of these women looked shockingly similar. Make sure to check out our Instagram page for pictures of both of them side by side because it is uncanny. Mary McGinnis was very well liked by the staff at her work, but she had begun having major issues with a male coworker. Things had been escalating. Her friend Lori Gimmel said, "She told me that she was afraid of this person that she worked with. And I said, 'Do you really think he could hurt you?' And she said, 'Yes, I do. And I think he could do worse.'" After that conversation, Mary stopped by her office in the evening to pick up some papers and became panicked by what she found. All of her pictures that were on her desk were turned around, so the backs of them were showing. And when she looked at that male coworker's desk, she saw the words written, "Death to her," on paper, which she assumed was about her. She called her husband, Mike Morris, on the way home, terrified. She got home and she asked him to show her how to use a gun and kept one under the front seat of her car after that. A few weekends later, Mary met her friend Lori at the clinic to give her a flu shot, and she said Mary seemed fine that Sunday. She was only going to stay a couple hours, then she was going to go home. A few hours later, Lori got a disturbing call from Mary saying she was in the office and she saw someone that gave her the creeps. She said, I'm just going to run across the bridge and turn off my computer and sign out of the building and go home. She was clearly very spooked at this time. Only 12 minutes later, Mary called 911. Detective Wayne Coleman of the Harris County Sheriff's Department said Mary was frantic. In an interview, Detective Coleman said, "We are not releasing the content of the tape. It covers the attack and what happened to Mary. And anyone that's ever heard that tape has just had their blood chilled listening to it. It's a very chilling, disturbing call." The medical examiner's report revealed that Mary was viciously beaten, then shot in the head, very similarly to the first Mary Morris. Detectives focused on Mary's male coworker at the clinic. He had quit his job after allegedly trying to discredit Mary. Detectives claim to have evidence linking him to the crime, so at this point, he remains a suspect. When investigators tried to question Mary's husband, Mike Morris, his behavior provoked suspicion. Mike refused to meet with them without an attorney. Detective Coleman said, "Witnesses don't need attorneys. Suspects generally have attorneys." And their investigation seemed to shift now to Mike Morris. He also refused a polygraph on the grounds that he suffered from anxiety and was on antidepressants and thought that would skew the results. Now, we all know how unreliable polygraphs are, so I'm not holding that one against him. And I don't know the science behind it, whether or not that would make a polygraph unreliable. But again, that one doesn't bother me. However, we are not done with Mike Morris yet. Hold on, sip of wine. Oh, it's weird by myself. All right. Authorities had also learned that Mike and Mary were having some serious problems with their marriage. Mike had heard rumors of an alleged affair between Mary and a family friend. He confronted both of them. He said, "They both looked me in the eye, and they both told me that there had been nothing inappropriate in their relationship, and I didn't see any betrayal in their eyes." Now, to me, this is strange behavior and quite controlling. When I saw the interview when he said that, I immediately got the heebie-jeebies. It was just very strange, and his candor is odd. Plus, he just looks kind of creepy. Sorry. Now, on to motive. There was a $700,000 life insurance policy taken out on Mary. And guess who was the beneficiary? You guessed it, Mike Morris. I can almost hear Autumn's voice saying right now, "It's always the husband." I mean, not wrong. Not to say that that's what's happened here yet. To police, the most curious evidence against Mike Morris, and this is crazy, was the call that he made to Mary's cell phone 2 hours after Mary had made that desperate call to 911. The call lasted 4 minutes. According to phone records, the call came in from Mike Morris's cell phone and listed as a completed call. Mike couldn't explain this. He said that he had called Mary, but he just let the phone ring and ring and ring. For 4 minutes? That just doesn't add up to me. Detective Erin. That's what I'm calling myself, apparently. Mary had been murdered by that point, and since they had heard everything on her 911 call that she had passed on, who was Mike on the phone with for 4 minutes? It's really suspect. Mike denies ever being involved in Mary's murder. Now, we have 2 women of similar age killed within miles of each other who look shockingly alike, and both named Mary Morris. A popular theory is that there was a hit on the second victim, Mary McGinnis. And unfortunately, Mary Lou, the first victim, was a mistaken identity by a mediocre hitman. One thing I didn't mention from Mary Lou's case is that her wedding ring was missing. It's common practice for hitmen to bring the wedding ring to the person who ordered the hit as evidence the job had been done. This theory was also supported by a call to a Houston newspaper, the Chronicle. Between the time Mary Lou was killed and before Mary McGinnis was murdered, the caller said something to the effect that they had gotten the wrong Mary the first time. There's no way to trace that call, and it went cold. Detective Robert Torrey said, well, with the remoteness of the location where the victim was found, as well as the effort that was taken to destroy the evidence of the vehicle, that would be consistent with a contract killing. But police insist they have no evidence that the two murders are connected. Detectives continue to search for any clues that might connect the two Mary Morrises to this day. They later concluded that the murders were a bizarre coincidence. However, both families believe it is virtually impossible that they are not connected. According to police, both the male coworker of Mary McGinnis Morris and her husband Mike have not been ruled out as suspects. Both murders remain unsolved. My sources were Unsolved Mysteries and Wikipedia. The wine I am drinking is 19 Crimes. It is an Australian wine. It's a Cabernet. And the name comes from the 19 different crimes you must have committed, either any of the 19, to be convicted of transportation in the UK to be sent to Australia to be a prisoner there. It's pretty great. I'm not mad at it. And if they would like to send me wine, feel free. 19 Crimes. Send us an email to info@murdernotmurdering.com. Attention, Detective Erin for wine and crime time. Yep, that was a shameless plug. You're welcome, folks. Too bad Autumn's not here to rein me in. Anyway, thank you so much for listening to me alone, and wish Autumn a speedy recovery so we can have our very exciting special episode next week. Also, don't forget to check out the Instagram for photos of the infamous Mary Morrises, and let us know what you think might have happened. Cheers, everyone, and I'll see you next week. Bye.